I should have turned around the moment I heard her words, but something inside me, a foolish mix of hope and denial, kept me frozen behind the door. "He's going to propose tonight," she whispered, her voice low, teasing, coated with that sly, cruel amusement that once made my heart race in delight. "Watch me say no, and maybe more." The words hit me like a fist. My chest tightened, my stomach dropped. Time slowed, and the mundane tick of our wall clock suddenly sounded like a mocking drumbeat. For a split second I questioned my own hearing, telling myself it had to be some joke, some line taken out of context. But then I heard the soft laugh that followed, intimate, satisfied, too satisfied. I had walked in on a revelation I was never meant to see. The door creaked slightly beneath my weight as I leaned against the frame, my mind running 1,000 miles an hour. Her name was Elise, my girlfriend for 5 years, my supposed partner, my confidant. And now, in one sentence, everything we had built, every late-night conversation, every shared dream, every promise whispered under the warmth of our shared blankets, felt like ash slipping through my fingers. I didn't want to believe it. I wanted to burst in, scream, demand she explain herself. But part of me, the part still hopelessly in love, wanted to hear more, to understand what she really meant. So I waited. The next words confirmed my worst fears. "He has no idea. Poor guy thinks he's my forever." Her laugh, soft and cruel, filled the room again. My vision blurred. My hands shook. A lifetime of memories. The first time she held my hand at the carnival, our spontaneous road trips, the night we stayed up talking until dawn, flashed through my mind, each one now poisoned by the knowledge that her heart had never been mine entirely. I stumbled back silently, my throat too tight for words. I left before she noticed me, before I could do anything that would betray the storm inside me. Outside, the night wrapped around me like a cold shroud. The city lights flickered like distant stars, indifferent to my pain. I wandered aimless, until the adrenaline faded and I felt the crushing weight of reality press down on me. I should have confronted her then. But I didn't. Couldn't. The thought of looking at her, of trying to reconcile this revelation with the woman I loved, made me nauseous. Days passed. I went through the motions of work, of life, like a ghost. Every message from her felt like a knife twisting in my gut, every casual "I love you," a lie stretched thin over a chasm I could never bridge. I wanted to run, to escape this life that had suddenly turned into a trap. And yet, I couldn't bring myself to walk away. Not yet. Then came the night of the proposal. I had found out through a friend of a friend where she was going. At a rooftop restaurant overlooking the city, candlelight flickering against glass walls, a violinist playing softly in the background. The place she had always dreamed of visiting. The scene she had described countless times when she spoke of romance, of fairy tales. I should have stayed away. I should have left her to her betrayal. But the ache in my chest was too sharp, too insistent. I needed to see it, to hear it, to confirm what I already knew in my bones. I arrived quietly, slipping into the shadows behind a pillar. And then I saw him, Mark, her co-worker, her supposed friend. He was down on one knee, a small velvet box in his hand, eyes shining with love and hope. Elise. Elise was smiling, a smile meant for him, not me. She looked radiant, the kind of beautiful that makes the world pause. And I felt my heart shatter into pieces so small I thought I would never recover. He spoke, his voice trembling with anticipation. "Elise, will you marry me?" She hesitated. And then, as if she had been rehearsing it for this exact moment, she smiled that cruel, teasing smile. "No." Mark's face fell. And in that instant I saw everything, the betrayal, the games, the manipulation. Her hand brushed against his arm, not in affection, but in a perverse, calculated thrill. My stomach churned. My hands balled into fists so tight my nails dug into my palms. I wanted to scream. I wanted to destroy everything in sight. But I didn't. Not yet. I watched as Mark slowly realized the truth. His hope dying in his eyes. And Elise, she looked triumphant. Like she had won some game I didn't even know I was playing. The walk home was a blur. Every step echoed in my ears. I kept replaying her words, her laughter, The casual cruelty that had shattered my world. How had I not seen this? How had I trusted her so completely, only to have my heart used as a pawn? That night I couldn't sleep. I couldn't even cry. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling the emptiness grow inside me. I thought about confrontation, about revenge, about walking away forever. But the part of me that loved her, the part that still saw her as the woman I had believed in, fought against every rational thought. Days turned into weeks. Elise acted as if nothing had happened, as if our life together hadn't just been a masquerade. She smiled, she laughed, she texted, she planned dates. And all the while, the image of her rejecting Mark, her delight in his heartbreak, haunted me. I decided I needed answers. Why? I asked one evening, finally confronting her in the quiet of our living room. Why would you do this? Why play with someone's heart like that? She tilted her head, her eyes bright, amused, almost condescending. You think it was that simple? I shook my head, tears finally spilling. It wasn't a game. It wasn't entertainment. I loved you. Her laugh was soft, almost musical, but it cut through me like glass. And I loved you, in my own way. But love isn't always enough. People want more than love, don't they? People want excitement, drama, proof that they matter. I wanted to hit her. I wanted to scream. But I only stood there, trembling, trying to make sense of a love that had been built on illusion. You humiliated him, I said, voice breaking. And you humiliated me. I saw it, heard it, everything. She stepped closer, her hand reaching for mine. I wanted you to see. I wanted you to know I could choose anyone, anytime. And yet, you're still here. The weight of her words pressed down on me. She wanted control, power, dominance, not love, not us, not the years we had spent dreaming together. I couldn't stay. Not after that. The decision didn't come easily. I packed my things, every piece of her that had invaded my life. Photos, gifts, memories, into boxes. I left them by the door. She called after me, her voice shaking for the first time, almost pleading. But I didn't look back. I didn't even turn my head. Walking out into the night, I felt a strange liberation, like stepping out of a storm into cold, clear air. The betrayal still burned, still throbbed in every heartbeat, but there was clarity in it. I had loved deeply, been betrayed, and now I was free to rebuild. Weeks later I ran into Mark. He had avoided me understandably. But when he saw me, his face softened. No words were needed. We had both been victims of the same cruelty, both left to pick up the pieces of hearts broken by the same woman. We shared a quiet nod, an unspoken acknowledgement that life would continue, that betrayal, while devastating, could not define us. I don't know if Elise ever realized the gravity of what she had done. Maybe she didn't. Maybe the thrill of control was enough. But I do know this. I survived her cruelty. I survived her games. And in surviving, I learned that love, when real, demands respect. Without respect, without honesty, it isn't love at all. It's a trap. That night, in the quiet of my new apartment, I sat by the window and looked at the stars. They were indifferent, like the city had been that night. I overheard her words. But unlike then, I felt no pain. Only resolve. Had been broken, yes. Shattered even. But I was rebuilding, stronger, wiser, and infinitely more cautious about where I placed my heart. The woman I had loved with all my soul was gone from my life. Not because I failed, but because she had chosen games over us. And that was a truth I would carry with me. A lesson etched into my very bones. Love is powerful. Love is beautiful. But love, real love, cannot survive cruelty, lies, and manipulation. And now, finally, I understood.